Xena's sobs echoed through the communication link as the alien princess begged for help, cornered and threatened by the brutish Cryocs on the Galactic Academy campus. "They're going to kill me, Mother," Xena cried, her pleas punctuated by Cryox's cruel laughter. In a private meeting room, Ymir, a high-ranking Sheliak diplomat, trembled with fear and rage as she recounted the chilling call to her colleague Zorgon. "My daughter, our princess, is in grave danger," Ymir said, her voice shaking. "Those monsters are threatening her life, all because she looks different than them." As Zorgon listened intently, his brow furrowed with concern. The Galactic Academy was meant to be a beacon of unity and understanding, a place where the children of various alien races could learn and grow together. But Xena's plight revealed an ugly truth. Prejudice and cruelty lurked in the Academy's halls. "We sent her there to foster peace and diplomacy," Ymir continued, her hands clenched into fists. "But instead, she faces discrimination and violence. Cryox and his gang of thugs have been tormenting her for weeks, and now they've gone too far." Zorgon nodded grimly. He knew Cryox's reputation as a notorious bully, a massive Zorgonian who used his size and strength to intimidate and dominate others. If someone didn't intervene soon, Xena's life could be in serious jeopardy. "We must act quickly," Zorgon said, placing a comforting hand on Ymir's shoulder. "I will contact the Academy's security forces immediately. They will put a stop to this madness and ensure Xena's safety." But as he reached for his communicator, Ymir's eyes widened in surprise. A new voice had joined the fray, a voice that belonged to neither Cryox nor Xena. It was a human voice, calm and confident, cutting through the chaos like a beacon of hope. "Step away from the princess," the human said, his words ringing out clearly over the communication link. "I won't let you hurt her anymore." Ymir and Zorgon exchanged a stunned glance, hardly daring to believe what they were hearing. A human student, of all people, had come to Xena's rescue, standing up to Cryox and his gang in the face of unimaginable danger. The fate of the Sheliak princess, and perhaps the future of interstellar relations, now rested in the hands of this brave young human. The question was, would he be able to save Xena and bring Cryox to justice, or would the cycle of violence and prejudice continue unchecked? The lives of Xena and the human student hung in the balance, and the next few moments would determine their fate and the fate of the delicate peace between their peoples. "Yes, Jeffrey Boyd was a true hero that day," Ymir said, her voice filled with admiration. As he confronted Cryox and his gang, I could see the determination in his eyes. He stood tall, his shoulders squared, and spoke with a calm authority that belied his youth. Zorgon leaned forward, hanging on every word. What did he say to them? Ymir closed her eyes, recalling the scene. He told them, "I don't care who you are or where you come from. Bullying and harassment have no place here at the Galactic Academy. We're all here to learn and grow together, not to tear each other down." "Incredible," Zorgon murmured. "And Cryox just backed down?" Ymir shook her head. "Not at first. Cryox laughed in Jeffrey's face, telling him to mind his own business if he knew what was good for him. But Jeffrey didn't flinch. He looked Cryox right in the eye and said, 'I'm making this my business, because someone has to stand up for what's right, and I won't let you hurt Princess Xena or anyone else.'" Zorgon's eyes widened. That must have taken incredible courage to stand up to someone like Cryox. "It did," Ymir agreed. "But that's just the kind of person Jeffrey is. He has a strong sense of justice and a kind heart, and his words seemed to have an effect on Cryox's gang. I saw them looking at each other, uncertain and hesitant." "What happened next?" Zorgon asked, leaning even closer. "Did Cryox back down?" Ymir took a deep breath, her eyes shining with gratitude. "He did, and it was all because of Jeffrey. But what happened next was even more incredible. Jeffrey turned to Xena and helped her to her feet, making sure she was okay, and then he did something I never expected." Ymir nodded, a soft smile playing on her lips as she remembered Jeffrey's next actions. As Cryox and his gang stood there, uncertain and ashamed, Jeffrey began to speak. He told them about his own experiences with bullying back on Earth, how he had been targeted for his love of science and learning. He spoke of the isolation and pain he had felt, and how he had struggled to find his place. Zorgon leaned forward, his eyes wide with empathy. I can only imagine how difficult that must have been for him, to be ostracized for pursuing knowledge. Yes, Ymir agreed, but Geoffrey's words seemed to strike a chord with Cryox and the others. As he spoke, I could see their expressions changing, their hostility giving way to understanding and even a hint of recognition. It was as if they too had faced similar challenges in their own lives. "Incredible," Zorgon murmured. "To think that a human could find common ground with a Zorgonian and his gang." Ymir continued, her voice filled with awe. The atmosphere in that moment was electric. The tension that had hung so heavily in the air seemed to dissipate, replaced by a sense of connection and empathy. And then, Geoffrey did something truly remarkable. "What did he do?" Zorgon asked, hanging on every word. "He extended his hand to Cryox," Ymir revealed. "He offered to help him and his friends find better ways to cope with their frustrations and insecurities, to channel their energy into more positive pursuits. And to everyone's amazement, Cryox accepted." Zorgon sat back in his chair, stunned. Cryox, the notorious bully, accepting help from a human? I never thought I'd see the day. Famia nodded, her eyes shining with pride. Cryox even apologized to Princess Xena for his behavior, promising to make amends. It was a turning point, not just for them, but for the entire Galactic Academy. Geoffrey's actions showed us that understanding and compassion could bridge even the widest of gaps between species. "What an extraordinary young man," Zorgon said, his voice filled with admiration. "To have the courage and wisdom to bring about such change, it's truly inspiring." "Indeed," Ymir agreed, and Princess Xena's reaction to Geoffrey's intervention was just as heartwarming. She was so moved, so grateful for Geoffrey's courage and compassion, Ymir continued, her voice wavering with emotion. As she embraced him, tears streaming down her face, I could feel the depth of her relief and gratitude. It was a moment of pure, raw emotion, and it touched me deeply. Zorgon nodded, his own eyes glistening. I can only imagine how much it meant to her, to feel safe and protected after such a harrowing ordeal. "Geoffrey was taken aback at first," Ymir said, smiling at the memory. But he quickly recovered, wrapping his arms around Xena and holding her close. He spoke to her softly, his words gentle and reassuring. "It's okay," he told her. "You're safe now. I won't let anyone hurt you." Zorgon sighed, his heart swelling with admiration. What a remarkable young man, to show such compassion and understanding, even in the face of such adversity. Thamir leaned forward, her eyes sparkling with excitement. And that's not all. The moment between Geoffrey and Xena was captured by a security camera, and the footage quickly spread throughout the academy. Within hours, it had become a symbol of hope and unity, a powerful reminder that we are all more alike than we are different. "Incredible," Zorgon breathed. "To think that a single act of kindness could have such a profound impact." "It inspired other students to reach out to each other," Ymir continued, her voice filled with pride. Suddenly, the boundaries between species didn't seem so insurmountable. Friendships blossomed, and the atmosphere at the academy began to change. It was as if Geoffrey had lit a spark and it was spreading like wildfire. Zorgon leaned back in his chair, his mind racing with the implications. And Geoffrey and Xena, what became of their friendship? Ymir's smile widened. They became inseparable. Geoffrey took Xena under his wing, helping her navigate the challenges of life at the academy. He introduced her to his friends, showed her the beauty of human culture, and stood by her side through thick and thin. It was a friendship unlike any I had ever seen before. A human and a Sheliak, bonding over shared experiences and common ground, Zorgon mused. It's remarkable when you think about it, to imagine that such a connection could exist, despite the vast differences between our species. Ymir nodded, her expression thoughtful. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? How much more we could achieve if we all took the time to understand and appreciate each other's unique perspectives and experiences. Zorgon sat forward, his eyes alight with curiosity. "Tell me, Ymir, how did this event, this friendship between Jeffrey and Xena, change the course of galactic history? I have a feeling that their story didn't end there." Fomir's smile turned mysterious, her eyes twinkling with the promise of untold adventures. "Oh, Zorgon, you have no idea. The story of Jeffrey and Xena's friendship was just the beginning. What happened next would shake the very foundations of our society and reshape the future of the galaxy itself. But that," she said, her voice dropping to a tantalizing whisper, "is a tale for another time." Zorgon leaned back, his face a mask of sorrow. "I had hoped their story would have a happier ending. To think that their friendship could be torn apart by the very prejudice they fought so hard to overcome." Ymir nodded, her eyes distant as she recalled the events that followed. It was a difficult time for everyone. Drax and his followers were relentless in their campaign against Jeffrey and Xena. They spread lies and half-truths, twisting the narrative to paint their friendship as something unnatural and dangerous. "How did Jeffrey and Xena handle the pressure?" Zorgon asked, his voice soft. "They tried to ignore it at first," Ymir said, her voice heavy with sadness. "They refused to let the hate and bigotry come between them, but as the weeks turned into months, the toll began to show. Xena grew quieter, more withdrawn, and Jeffrey, he was so angry, so frustrated by his inability to protect her from the cruelty of others." Zorgon shook his head. "I can only imagine how helpless he must have felt." "In the end, it was Xena who made the decision to leave," Ymir continued, her voice barely above a whisper. "She came to me one night, tears in her eyes, and told me that she couldn't bear to see Jeffrey suffer any longer, that she had a duty to her people, and that she couldn't let her feelings for him jeopardize the future of the Sheliak." "A heavy burden for one so young," Zorgon murmured. Ymir closed her eyes, the memory still vivid in her mind. "I held her as she cried, my heart breaking for both of them. I knew that Jeffrey would be devastated, but I also understood Xena's choice. She was a princess, a symbol of hope for her people. She couldn't turn her back on that, no matter how much it hurt." Zorgon was silent for a moment, his eyes fixed on the stars outside the window. "And Jeffrey, how did he take the news?" "Not well," Ymir admitted, her voice thick with emotion. "He was shattered, lost. He couldn't understand why Xena had left without saying goodbye, without giving him a chance to fight for their friendship. He withdrew from his studies, from his friends. It was as if a light had gone out inside him." Zorgon sighed, his shoulders slumping. A tragic end to a beautiful story. Ymir reached out, placing a hand on Zorgon's arm. "But not the end of their legacy," she said, her voice growing stronger. "Jeffrey and Xena's friendship, brief as it was, showed us that change is possible, that even in the face of hatred and prejudice, love and understanding can take root and flourish." Zorgon met Ymir's gaze, a glimmer of hope in his eyes. "You're right," he said, his voice filled with determination. "We can't let their sacrifice be in vain. We have to carry on their work, to build bridges instead of walls." Ymir nodded, a small smile playing at the corners of her mouth. "It won't be easy," she warned. "There will be those who resist, who cling to their old prejudices and fears. But we have to try, for Jeffrey and Xena, and for all those who come after us." Zorgon sat up straighter, his eyes blazing with purpose. "Then let us begin," he said, his voice ringing with conviction. "Let us honor their memory by creating a galaxy where all species can live and learn together in harmony, where the bonds of friendship and love are stronger than the forces that would tear us apart." You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.